Are you going to announce the giveaway right now too?
I can.
It won't be out. This will be out the next week.
Yeah, I understand that.
So it wouldn't do no good to announce it then.
You're the fucking one that asked me if I was going to, and I said I could.
Well, I know, but it wouldn't do no good.
Why'd you ask me?
About what we did.
Sometimes you just talk to talk.
I do that probably.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom! And welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Stanfield Hunting Outfitters, home of the Big Honker Lodge and home of the Big Honker Podcast. I'm Jeff Stanfield with the world famous Andy Shaver.
I'm having troubles.
Are you? Are we on?
Well, yeah, we're on, but the switcher, I can't get the logo off. So
You know, my MacBook is getting old. I'm gonna have to replace it pretty soon.
There we go.
But I can't get ESPN and I can't get Noah to come up on it no more. Other ones will go perfect, but some websites will not come up.
your laptop's newer than mine.
No, it's not either.
It is, too.
No. This son of a bitch is probably 5 years old. No. Yes,
Mine's
it
probably
is.
5 years old.
Oh, well, you don't watch as much porn probably.
I guess not.
Well, they probably had that
Oh, I'm sorry.
They probably had that program on there where they're going to go bad after about 2 years and you have to buy a new
I'm
one.
sure.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me. But mine, like ESPN, it gets halfway to load and it goes off. But CBS Sports comes up. Now, if it was CBS Sports with our fantasy football, I would have went and bought me a new laptop by now. But
You're about 3 months away.
You
yeah,
can do an iPad.
I need new. I'm gonna get me a new laptop here next year, anyways.
No, I
I'm
mean,
good.
if you were in a pinch, you could put it on the iPad.
yeah. Well, if I was on a pinch, I'd go to Best Buy and buy me a new MacBook. But I've just noticed that recently, and I'm sure you're onto something, Tony. With us today is Anthony Joseph Stanfield,
That'd be me.
my brother, Chance Pruitt's husband.
What's his tick? Jeff was talking about his tick yesterday to Clay Reed.
His tick.
Chance.
That neck thing he does. Was that from
his
football
twitch?
or was that?
I don't know. He just...
Oh, he had a
little
twitch?
He had a little twitch. He just all of a sudden started...
Yeah.
Probably that tornado that he got left alone in.
I don't know what it was.
No, because he didn't do it when he was little. I told him the story yesterday with Clay Reed about Chance shooting the ball with the right hand.
right
and
hand.
left hand.
Bisexual?
I'm bisexual. No,
Yeah, you know,
been
Chance
ambidextrous.
there's every person's got something they do whenever they're lying.
Oh,
You know, Chance will always start getting on. I hit a $20,000 jackpot the other day at the casino.
Are you the only person that ever calls out Chance?
I'm sure. I don't know. His dad probably does. I'm sure.
You and Clint?
Yeah.
Chance is like another brother to you.
Yeah.
You've had some really good friends in your life. Chance is a great friend of yours. Chris Cope was a
Cope,
great friend
right.
that got killed. And you're very blessed with good friends. You're a good friend because nobody knows when you lie because you don't ever lie about nothing.
I don't. When
You're
I
not
do
a
them, I start
bullshitter.
getting that shit-eating grin.
Tony's got a grin.
Does he?
Yeah.
Like you do too. Like right?
I don't have a grin at all.
Yeah, you do.
You never know if I'm lying.
Jeff's mother is living with me now for a while,
Jeff's
and
mother.
she preaches to me and kind of jumps my ass about things like going to the casino, and she'll tell me, she goes, "You went and done something you wasn't supposed to. I see that shit-eating grin on your face."
So you're 53 years old
Yep.
and you're living with your mom.
No, she's living with me. It's different.
Very nice of you to have your mom. I'm telling you right now because mom would be in my backyard. You've been a very good
She was in your backyard yesterday. I don't know if you saw her on the picnic table.
at my house.
The backyard here at the
Oh,
lodge.
at the lodge. Yeah, she walks up here all the time now. She's
Yeah.
getting where she walks. She's been sick. She's starting to walk and stuff again. But
She walked up here the other day, and Jessica, the lady that works for us, her daughter was having a graduation party, and her coach saw Kylie and said, "Kylie, is that lady out there? Is that your grandma in the hoochie mama shorts and the sports bra?"
Was she wearing a sports bra?
Yeah.
like she said,
walked
yoga
up there
class.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw her the other day. And I was like, we will be addressing this before hunting season gets here. I promise you, Mom.
I'm just gonna come out in
I
your
didn't say nothing
negligee.
now, but
She's wanting to jump in the pond, but I told her, I said, "Don't jump in that pond unless I'm here. I don't
No
have
shit.
to come drag your ass out."
Well, it's worse than having a toddler.
anyways, that's Tony's biological mom.
Man, yeah.
We have no idea who my mother is.
What are you talking about?
There is no way. There is no possible way that I am blood lineage to these people. There's none. There's no possible way. I think about this shit all the time. Tony does stuff that makes me just shake my head sometimes. But Tony, yesterday or somewhere, I pulled up and Tony come walking out. Oh, he's coming out of the kitchen the other day and I was coming up the road and I thought it was my dad for a minute. Tony walks like dad and looks like dad from way off. And I was like, oh, there's dad, you know, and for a minute.
I'm getting old. I'm starting to feel like that.
Yeah. But that's, you know, I hope you die as happy as dad did.
Well, I think we all hope that we die as happy as he.
I mean, seriously, dad, for someone that didn't have much worldly possessions, he died as happy. He loved his life. There's very few people I've ever been around in the world that had loved life and enjoyed.
He enjoyed it a lot more when you wasn't bitching at him, but
Yeah.
Well, thank God somebody bitched at him a little bit.
Why?
Dad needed that.
You don't think back to some of those fights and like,
there's a lot of times I got onto
let that
dad's
shit go.
Yeah, but that's like getting onto your kid. Then something happened. Your great grandmother, her son Bobby was in a bad accident. He was a paraplegic. Was in a bad accident. He was 23 or 24 years old, and he died like 9 months to a year later. Stayed at the house, and just something happened, and he died. Anyway, she told Michelle one time that she kind of got upset, and I was at the house with her, and Michelle goes, "What's wrong, He?" That was her name was Hebird, or I named her Hebird. He was what they called her. She's like, "Oh, I got onto Bobby one time for something." She goes, "That's just guilt, and it bothers me." It's your kid. You were raising your kid. You're being a good parent. You can't feel guilty because they died.
Right.
I mean, what are you going to be, a heathen?
True.
So Dad needed that. He needed that guidance.
Yeah, but you rode his ass incessantly. Sometimes unnecessarily.
So you felt sorry for Dad most of the time?
Most of the time, he'd come out there and
You never thought Dad ever deserved anything, and
not to the extent he might have, minimal force necessary to get the reaction that you want. And you just fucking go off on a tangent on the poor guy.
You pawn your dog off on him.
Dad loved Ollie.
Yeah, you pawned him off. Just like you're pawning him off. You tried to pawn your puppy off on me, too.
No, Andy's going to keep the puppy while I'm gone. That's only fair. I take care of Lou, go get him, marry him. He's going to take care of the puppy when I'm gone. But Dad, for people that don't listen, my dad, Ron, we love my dad to death, but my dad did not listen very well. And he worked for us, even though he was our dad. He worked at the lodge. He took care of our pheasant hunts and stuff. And Dad was a great hand, and I miss him tremendously, but he did not listen to the clock very well.
He was the Walmart greeter here.
Yes, and he done really good at that. But when he was doing pheasant hunts and stuff all the time, and we have dinner at 6 o'clock, Dad show up at 6:30. And it wasn't because he was hurrying the hunt; it's because Dad dicked around a lot.
We was doing some tractor work one time, and I was waiting for him for some parts, and I waited 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and I called him. "Where in the hell you at, Dad?" I said, "Oh, I'm looking at Lake Winchester right now." I said, "You're full of shit because I'm right across the road from it." So, well, I can see the trees. I just left town.
Yeah, never on time.
That's what I tell Jeff when I'm running late. I can see the one at Water Tower.
So when let's say 20 years from now, I'm 76 years old, and Tony's 73, and Tony's still living with my mom. And
How old will she be?
114.
She'll be living with Kylie in college.
So
But your grandparents live long, so that's
Yeah,
not
with
out of the
longevity.
it's-
My
it's
mom's-
not out of the realm of
Yeah.
possibility.
99 was her dad. Her mom was 93.
Right.
Now,
She could see 100.
let me tell you something too. On my dad's side, my grandma was 90-something years old too. So there's a good chance you're going to be taking care of me one day.
Right.
So are you going to use this same patience with me that you think I should have used with my dad?
Probably not.
Okay, there you go. That's all I had to say.
Probably not, because no.
No, that's right.
But Ron was patient with y'all. Ron should have gotten that back from you.
Yeah. Jeff?
Yeah. Well, there are some guilty moments I have in my life towards my dad, but there's not very many of them because I can remember a lot of things that he did, like getting fired 13 times in one day.
He was pretty hard-headed.
He was very hard-headed. And I deal with his son now, same way. So this is going to be a world on fire. We're going to talk a little bit about everything. Tony is a big tinfoil hat wearer. Is that safe, Andy, to say?
Well, the reason I wanted to bring Tony on is I'm out of the news cycle. So a lot of times we do these and I'm just kind of shooting blind.
Okay.
Tony is more in tune with what's going on.
I would say that's very fair because I turn it off and he turns it on.
Right.
But would you also say Tony and your mother are a little far out there on some shit?
They can be out there on some
Okay.
things.
So me and you agree on that.
You are just clueless.
Cueless.
I'm a lot more mainstream than my wife, your mom, and Tony are, right?
What do you mean mainstream?
I'm more.
You just don't-
I'm more line. I don't listen to it as much no more.
Right.
But you did make a comment the other day about, some of that stuff y'all talked
all
3
coming
years ago.
true.
It's coming true.
Y'all are
True a
like
little
Alex
bit.
Jones. I
Of
told
course.
you. I told,
That's why we listen to
some
it.
things.
I talked to Justin Hill about that today, and I said it's kind of funny. I said we're fixing to do a world on fire at the lodge today, and I said Tony's with us today, and he's like, "Oh God Almighty!" I said, well, "We're going to go down some rabbit holes," but I said it's funny. I said Tony and that little group of people that he's in with everybody in local. That y'all have y'all's own little Q group. Are pretty close to what goes on later on down the road. So I want to ask you a few questions, Tony.
Okay.
First of all, I think Donald Trump gets elected as our next president. I really believe that. I don't think they can cheat that much this time. They're going to try their ass off, and they're going to try to put him in jail. And I believe that Trump is going to have to go to Rikers. I believe that's going to happen. And I think it's going to backfire on the Democrats. Like, it's already all backfiring on them. I think he's going to get elected president.
But what about the mistrial thing?
Who knows if that comes about or not? We'll see what happens. But do you think Trump gets elected?
I think he gets elected. I think he still has control right now.
I think you're nuts. Okay, there you go. That's the first one. Count that down.
I think we're watching a movie play out right now.
Well, it's a fucking horror movie.
It is a horror movie.
I don't think so. I don't think we would flood the country with illegals if Donald Trump's in charge.
So here's my deal. I think Donald Trump has always been in control, and I think he signed executive orders doing continuity of government. There's a deal called devolution, where he has 2 or 3 people high in the military that's basically overseeing the safety of our country, even though it looks like it's blowing up right now.
So you think Joe Biden and Obama are in on this?
I think it's all they're doing their deal, but they don't have the full control. When Joe Biden went to Washington D.C. for the inauguration, he flew on a private plane. He's the only elected president that never flew on. Most people that are elected presidents, they get an escort on Air Force One into Washington, D.C.
Right. I agree. That is true.
Joe Biden did not do that.
Andy, what do you think? Tony full of shit here?
I would I would say if Trump is in charge, I don't know why he would have let us go down this rabbit hole.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Now, it would make sense to him. I told you when Trump lost that it was probably a good thing because there were a lot of things that were going to be out of his control. Inflation would be number one. And there were a couple other things that it was just going to happen naturally. It was a natural cycle. Had Trump got elected in 2020, he would have been holding the bag for a lot of the things that we see today. So taking 4 years off when some of these things were inevitable, I don't think was the worst thing. I think this plays right into Trump's hand getting elected in 2024. Things just being in the state that they are right now. But I don't know.
Well,
I would like if Trump is in charge and he's letting us go through all of this, I don't know that is necessarily a positive for him.
No, not at all.
Well, something else. During the inauguration, Joe Biden had 3 cannons.
What do you mean 3 cannons?
Whenever like the 21 gun salute.
Oh, okay.
Every president before him had 4 cannons. They basically gave him a state funeral ceremony. If you'll notice, he went to the laying of the wreath of the national at Arlington Cemetery. Mm-hmm. He never touched the wreath. Every other president before him picked the wreath up and went and put it on the deal. He never touched it.
We never had a president that shit his pants on stage either. So,
did you see him the other day at the D-Day deal?
No,
He turned around and he saluted the troops behind him. Nobody saluted him back.
Well, so you're telling me now the whole military's in on that he's not president?
I never said the whole military. I'm just saying there's a lot of things. There's situations where he's getting on Air Force One and stuff, and the Marines are not in full uniform like they're supposed to be. There was one scene where he was getting on Air Force One or Marine One, and the guy had a beard, facial hair. Some of the uniforms just don't add up that they should.
Well, I think you keep people a little out there. I don't think he's president right now. I do think he's going to be elected president. I think in a fair election, he gets all 50 fucking states.
Have you noticed on his hat it says 45-47? You don't have 45 common 47.
I don't. I haven't paid much into that. Okay, so my question was not, do you think Donald Trump's still president? Because I don't think so. Andy doesn't think so. If he is, he's done a terrible job.
I think he just has control. I personally think that they're letting all this play out to open the people's eyes.
Well, I think the people's eyes are wide open now.
I think they have all the evidence in the world that the election was stolen, but no court will bring it up. It's not because they went to court and lost. No court will bring up the election. So what I think happened is that they're letting this all play out. If they would have brought up all the election fraud. The fraud and the evidence that they had right after it done it, you'd have an all-out civil war. You'll have 45% of the country that's against Trump and want to go start a civil war. Well, now, 4 years later, they're pulling this up. How many people are for Trump now? 75, 80%. So you're only going to have 15% of the people that's going to be pissed off that would win a civil war instead of 45% of the people.
First of all, there are battles that I would be worried about fighting against. Like if we were in a combat, hand-to-hand combat with Russians, I've seen Rocky. I'd be scared to death of having to fight the Russians hand-to-hand. You know, I'm not a grappler like you, Andy. I wouldn't want the Russian guys coming in here. The Chinese are some wiry little bastards. I don't want to have to fight them either. But the 15% of the people in America that are on the left, they don't scare me much. Do they you?
No.
And they throw their dildos at you?
But think about it. How many actors and celebrities and athletes are coming out now for Trump that wasn't for Trump?
I don't think that's because they've been bought out. I think they've woke up.
Exactly. I think all this played out. Trump left peacefully because he knew that there would be a big uprising, and he was wanting to win the people over.
Well, I
think the whole thing is I think it's a movie script.
I don't think that
you can't tell me that there's not one good conservative judge in this country that has the authority that could have brought up the election stuff, unless they said, hey, just hold up, don't do it right now.
I don't know. All I know is that the country is in shams right now. It's the worst it's ever been in my lifetime, and I'm the oldest of the three of y'all in here. Tony, you're old just like me. We've never seen nothing like this in our country ever, and it's really scary.
And some of the stuff they're doing is freaking stupid.
What'd you tell me yesterday about Venezuela and the prisons?
They said that the crime in Venezuela is down 72%. It's because all the damn thugs and outlaws are in our country now. And they said that it's like that in all the Central American countries. All the crime is down because all the bad people are in our country.
Except for Mexico. They killed, what, 30 presidents that were running? How many?
37 people.
37 people that were running for president?
Oh, no kidding. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, that 37 candidates that were going to run for president of Mexico died.
So the liberal lady could win.
Yeah. Why did they choose to let her live?
Because she killed everybody else off.
Well, because she ran by the cartel owns her.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Mexico's an easy fix. People are like, there just can't be an easy fix. It's a real simple fix. You call the president of Mexico and you say, listen, if you don't have that border cleaned up and shut down by 6 p.m. today, we're shutting off all financial transactions to Mexico. Everything. Wells Fargo, Western Union, everything. You cannot transfer money from America to Mexico. That means those companies down there that are the resorts that aren't owned by the cartel, that money's not coming back to America at all. If you want to send it to Europe, that's between you and Europe. But you don't. And I promise you, they'd fix that shit quick.
Oh, Biden signed an executive order last week that's going to
fix it. He's going to fix the border.
He's only going to let 1.5 million people in illegally a year.
That's absolutely fucking ridiculous. There's 46 million people in our country that weren't born here. It's not 1875 where you had to have the influx of immigration.
They're trying to blend us now. That's why they're bringing everybody in.
No, we've blended. There's a bunch of dumbasses everywhere now. So I would say on that. What else was going on in the world I wanted to ask you about? What do you think about? I don't think China is a threat to us the way everyone else does. I don't think military wise, I don't think them and Russia are even close to us as a threat. I really don't. Because this would have been a prime time to attack us if you would have.
I think Russia and China both has elements of deep state in them, that they're going against what probably most of the people in each country are probably conservative and wants to be peaceful. But I think they've got part of the government that's crooked and just playing into the same deep state crap that we are.
One of the things I find really interesting is, and I've talked about this so many times, is the gay people for Palestine. That cracks me up to be that stuck on one issue in your life that you don't see the big picture. You are for these people that are going to kill you.
Yeah, they want to kill gay people.
Yeah, and and gay people just blow my mind when they're going for these people. These people are fanatics. They hate people. They hate you. They're evil. I saw yesterday a couple went to Iraq or Iran backpacking to prove.
Yeah, I saw that.
Dead. They killed them. What do you expect? That's exactly the kind of people they are.
But then my thought is the Israeli government any better than some of the other governments?
Andy, do you think Israel, the government's good or bad?
I don't know if there's any government that's good or bad. I think they're just all in it for themselves.
Because I had heard that this massacre that they flew into Israel and committed, that they had stand down orders for 7 hours while that happened.
Right. I mean, it could be the same. I mean, could fall in line with the Trump argument that Trump's in charge to let things devolve into chaos and then emerge as a savior.
Well, Israel's got a free pass now to clean up to do what they want to do, basically. They're not going to. The United States is not going to go against them because there's too many people that are Israeli sympathizers like us. I'm for Israel. I'm not always for all their government, but I'm for the Israeli people. They're surrounded by carpet kneelers that hate them, and they're making their little area a little bit bigger right now.
I saw a picture on Telegram the other day that showed American Special Forces in.
They were
Israel
the ones that got
the prisoners out.
Yes,
but then the news source that had it, can't even remember which one it was. They deleted it.
Well, of course, because it goes against their base. The Democratic base is those wacko lunatics.
Right.
If you vote Democrat, you're aligned with people that hate our country. Is that fair, Andy?
I mean, I don't know if they see it that way.
I'm
Their
asking
vote
you,
supports
what's
that.
your opinion on that?
But I don't think that they see it that way.
I'm asking you your opinion. Do you think the left is aligned with people that hate our country? A big portion of the left, I'm going to say 10 to 15% of their voting base are people that hate our country. But they vote because they think they're going to get shit free, and they know that's a weak side of the government.
Well, I don't you're saying like the average Joe that's going to vote Democrat.
15% of the left are these radical people that you see marching for Palestine and all this other Antifa, Black Lives Matter. All these people, those people don't like America. Black Lives Matter is nothing more than a terrorist group that was propped up to do exactly what they did.
Well, they're all
George
on
Soros.
the George Soros.
That's right. Do you think those 15% hate America? That's a big portion of a portion of the Democratic Party. You can go far right. There's some weirdos that are far right, but
You're going to say that's 10 to 15% of both parties.
Well, but
are on the fringe.
But the fringe
whatever.
people don't hate America on the right. They're just gun loving whack jobs.
Do they not hate America? Or I mean, you've got your white supremacists and everything else that don't like.
I don't think there's that many white supremacists in the country.
I don't either.
You could say 10%. I mean,
No.
that's a small.
That's a big portion of the country.
How many people live here? 200.
We've got
300 million.
We've got 30 people that work at this lodge. Are 3 of them white supremacists? No.
No, but I mean,
That's
I
you're
would
telling
be
me,
class
what
of-
is it? It's 300 million live in America, right?
How many people did you graduate high school with?
30.
Do 3 of them hate white, or three of them hate people that aren't white?
Easy, Jeff. I had some degenerates, so
There's no way you had 3 of them that hate white people. I mean, that hate black people.
The problem is how do you determine a white supremacist? Now, is if you love God, your country, and you're a patriot, you're a white supremacist.
Well, then I'm a white supremacist because I love all
That's
that.
what they're going at now.
No, but I'm understanding. But a true white supremacist, a member of the Ku Klux Klan, which is the Democratic Party, they can say what they want to about it, but that's their deal. They
Southern
own
Democrats.
that. That's right. You know, Byrd, Mr. Biden's big buddy, and Obama's big buddy, fucking was a racist.
Yep.
But I don't know. We are the perfect breeding ground for white supremacy. We are in the hunting business. We deal with rednecks. We deal with Southerners. We deal with people that believe in gods and guns and drunk people. I don't know a white supremacist. I do not know. I can go in the far reaches of my mind, and I can't even think of one person that did it. I know. I went to school with a kid that said the N-word all the time. His daughter is married to a black guy. He's got some black grandkids. Absolutely loves them to death. He's not a white supremacist. He just used the N-word. I mean, that doesn't make you a white supremacist just because you use the N-word, because black people use it all the time. But I'm just saying I don't know anybody that hates anyone based on color. I don't like trashy fucking people. White, black, brown, yellow, whatever it is. I don't like low-class people. I'm not talking about poor people. I'm talking about trashy people. I don't want to hang around them. I don't want to be around them. You know? I would much rather go to a black barber shop than to be around a trashy person. You know? But people think I'm a racist sometimes because of the way I talk and my feelings about shit. Well, I'm not a racist at all. I don't dislike anybody. So I don't know anybody that's a white supremacist. That's just a national calling for anybody that votes for America.
Yep.
If you fly a flag in your yard, that's white supremacist or white nationalist or whatever they call it. No, I'm a fucking American.
But I mean, I don't really like our country right now.
No, I don't. But I like what our country's about.
But your original argument was 10 to 15% of the Democrats don't like the country. Well, I'd fall in the 10 to 15% of Republicans that don't really like our country now.
But you love what our country's about. They don't love what their country's about even. They don't like it. They think that we come in here and we stole the land from a bunch of happy Indians that were having parades with other tribes every week and getting along. And that's not the reality of how America was founded or what America was about. Those Indian tribes were conquering and killing just like Genghis Khan was in China back in the day. They were very, very evil to each other. They were wicked. They were doing the same thing that was going on in Europe. They was conquering and taking over. Matter of fact, I would bet statistically, if you could do a crime analysis, I'll bet you that the Native American Indians, whatever you want to call them, casino owners, whatever it is, were more violent than any other group of people ever in this country or in the world at that time, everywhere. You don't think so?
In the world?
At that time, they were murdering, raping, pillaging, stealing from each other, kidnapping. They were as bad as anybody. You don't think so?
No, I think we were all bad at that time. I think it was just a big grab on you're going to get what you can get and plunder what you got to. You look at stories of the Vikings and the stuff that they did. I mean,
same thing.
But that's what I'm saying. But you're giving the Indians to that. I think it was just a big shit show back then, and it was a free for all.
I said they were as bad as anybody in any time, any group of people. They were just as violent. There was not very many Indian tribes that had a rule of law, that stated themselves, that didn't go around doing bad things to each other. There was very few of them. There's some that befriended the white man that did some stuff. And the white man done the Indian terrible. As I get older, I'm becoming more of an Indian sympathizer. I used to not be. I used to think, fuck, it's just life, you know. But we did a lot of bad things to them.
Well, after last night, they raped me, so.
But it was just the way it was back then.
That's right. It was the way the world was. But we lied to them. They didn't have any representation, kind of like we are these days.
Our crooked government back then.
Yes. The crooked government's been around a long time. But I think the Indians, anyways, when we came to this country, it was they were battling, fighting each other. We just picked certain tribes teamed up with us to help us, but we were helping ourselves by using them. But it was all set up as a financial deal for trade.
But even Wyman said that the Indians weren't hostile towards the white man until the white man just started taking scalps for no reason.
I think that there probably was more than just that, but
Wyman said it on the last podcast.
I understand that, but there were some groups of guys that were doing that before. They weren't just friendly to people. They weren't.
I'm just telling you what Wyman said.
I understand, and I don't agree with Wyman on that 100%. The Indians were just good people. I don't think so. Now, once they got into that deal, it did be bad, and then we were giving them whiskey, and that didn't work out real well.
No, they had alcohol way before. They had alcohol forever.
They did. What'd they make it out of? Corn?
I saw a video on it not too long ago. Yeah, it was that guy. It was that liberal professor. But anyway, which all professors.
Well, I mean, they had peyote anyways. They had
alcohol.
But they also had peyote. They had hallucinogens. I'm assuming they had marijuana too, wouldn't you figure?
I'm not sure. Here it is right here.
We were taught that BS in school about one of the reasons why the Native Americans all ended up as alcoholics was because we brought alcohol with, but they didn't have it. Monkeys have alcohol. That's the dumbest thing ever. No, literally, monkeys will wait until fruit over ripens and starts to ferment, and then they'll go get it. And they'll literally get drunk off of it. And by the way, they will trade fruit for sex. So it's just like us.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Drunk, falling over each other, getting into fist fights, falling out of branches, eating rotten fruit. It's perfect.
So, I mean, if you go by that, then the Indians just did the same thing. Just wait for fruit to ripen. And
the Native Americans had alcohol because we've had alcohol for at least 20
hold on just a minute.
years.
Would you really consider that alcohol just fermented fruit they're eating? That's no different than eating mushrooms or the
you're going to get drunk.
peyote. That it's hallucinogenic basically, or a stimulant is what they were doing. So anyways,
well, alcohol's a depressant.
But we poured alcohol in them, traded it with them.
Distilled alcohol.
Yeah, fire water. Mm-hmm. But I don't even know how we got onto this subject about the Indians. But anyways, we was talking about somebody coming over here. Oh, when the white man came over here, it wasn't Shangri-La here is all I was saying.
Right.
Now.
You're talking about the 15% of the people that don't think.
Yeah, I think that
that's where we got started on this.
Yeah, there's a big portion of people on the left that hate America. Hate America.
Would Willie Nelson be one of them?
I don't think he hates America. I just think he doesn't realize how fucking lucky he is to be here.
Right.
I really don't. I just think a lot of people.
I've heard him several times come out about talking about the Indians and how wrong we did them, and
yeah, I think there's a lot of guys like him that have a lot of money that are out of touch with the whole situation. They only pick and choose. It's real easy if you live in California and you're making $10 million a year. Now, it's not Willie Nelson, but one of these actors, and they're making $5 to $10 million a year, and they live in a big house, and they live in Beverly Hills. They're shielded from real America. They don't pay no attention to it. Nope. Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic majority leader in the House, or minority leader, whatever he is.
Yeah, he's kind of like the acting leader right now.
Yeah, basically, yeah, because dickhead don't do shit. But he come out the other day and's like, the economy's up, all this shit. Well, the people that vote for him, they go to the grocery store. They know better than that stuff. They're not stupid. You can't bullshit people when they're going to the grocery store and spending $500 for what they were spending $180 or $250 on. They know, and they know where to blame it at. And that's where they're out of touch with their voting base. But those 15% of people, they're not in the voting base. They don't care.
No.
All the people that was in Portland that were shutting that shit down, they hate America. But they like the freedoms they have in America, them be able to get what they want to do. Because if they pulled that same shit in Russia
it wouldn't fly.
Or Saudi Arabia, they fucking chop their arms off or their heads off. And that'd be the end of that story. But I really think the left has got a problem with their 10 to 15%. I don't think those people got the balls to stand up and do anything. I think they're anarchists and they're causing problems. But the reality, or what I find very funny about and amusing about the whole thing is those people are pissed off at Joe Biden now, and he's the perfect president for them to get by with all this shit. Because Donald Trump ain't gonna be on their side.
Right.
You really don't have much to say on this whole subject.
I just don't. You're right. I mean, Biden's their perfect president. But what's the government going to do to fight inflation?
I don't know. I'm not an economist.
I mean, the reason
you got to quit
here,
printing money.
Well, yeah, but the whole reason we're here is because of the 2020 spending bills that we did.
Do you think
to get out of COVID?
Do you think that we would be better to get rid of? A politician made a move on Friday to do away with the Federal Reserve, which means they're going to kill him somehow. He's going to die.
Yep.
Because back to your Titanic deal, there's a whole lot of stuff happened on the Titanic that had a big bearing on what's going on in the world today. Mm-hmm. They killed, was it Jacob Astor they killed?
I can't remember who all was on it.
Astor,
it wasn't Rockefeller, was it? Rockefeller was supposed to be on the boat?
No, J.P. Morgan owned the boat.
Yeah,
he got off of it right
Morgan.
Before it left.
Yeah, and he was for the Federal Reserve.
He was for it. The three other guys that was on it, the three of the richest guys in the world, was against it.
And they all died. So I don't know how to get out to fix inflation because I'm not an economist and I'm not smart enough to figure that out. But I think the best thing that we could do is to quit printing money, quit sending foreign fucking aid out all the way. Just cut that shit out. Everything should be a single line item, and we should have a balanced budget as a federal government. And this sounds absolutely
that'll never happen.
Well, hold on. This is as immature and this is as dumb as I am when it comes to things like this because I am not a money guy like this. I think right now, what is just call a debt, squash it out, start at zero, and start over and make us stay within a budget. Because we're never going to catch up to all that shit we've done.
34 trillion?
Yep. Never, ever, 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 ever.
They don't even talk about it now.
No.
That's not even anything they run on. That used to be a big thing that I'm going to balance the budget.
Yep.
The whole system, I believe, is designed to fail so they can come in with global digital currency. And that way, if you don't vote how they want, they're going to shut your bank account down.
You think they were thinking global digital currency in 1915?
Well, no, at that time they were thinking Federal Reserve to control the people that way. And now that's playing out. The same people that was responsible for that is the one that's going to try to change it to the global digital currency, which is the central banks.
If we went to gold standard, how much would gold be an ounce right now?
I'm not sure. Probably twice, 3 times what it is. But have you seen how much gold China has bought?
No.
China has got like 30 to 60,000 tons of gold.
It's about what the state of Texas has.
They are the leading owner of gold in the world. And they keep stockpiling it.
Did you know, and I did not realize this, how valuable silver was at one time?
Yeah.
Silver was more valuable than gold at one time, or pretty damn close to it. Gold was only like $200 or $300 an ounce like 30 years ago.
Now, back to rabbit holes. Didn't JFK want to get off the Federal Reserve and go to the silver standard or gold standard?
That's what I was looking up, and I'm getting conflicting reports. Some people say that he was trying to. Some people say that he was not. So I don't know. That's one. But I had already typed that in.
Right.
Because I felt like I had heard that. But the New York Times wrote an article. Kennedy urges into the Federal Reserve. So New York Times wrote it. So sounds like he could have been.
Yeah.
Going after it.
Well,
That's why what happened in Dallas happened in Dallas.
Do you know the CIA and the deep state's the one that had big ends with Howard Hughes?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, they said that they started blackballing him because he was a threat to them.
Well, he had big foreign.
He was a big military contractor.
Yeah, he had big military contracts. Sharp man.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if JFK was wanting to go after the Federal Reserve because RFK Jr. said he would like to dismantle it. So maybe he's trying to pick up what his uncle was started.
Well, from what I hear, the central bank's behind everything.
Do you think that RFK Jr. should have Secret Service protection? I do.
If he's running for president, I think he should.
What about you, Andy?
Well, 100%. But I mean, he's also my guy. So,
well, he's not my guy, but he deserves Secret Service protection. There's some things about the guy that's not bad.
Well, you just said you wanted to end the Federal Reserve. And
There's some things about him that's not bad. I said that. I think well, I can't say that about Biden. I've said before about Obama. I like Obama as a person. Probably would be an interesting guy to know. I think he doesn't understand America because wasn't raised here. He has no Americanism in him. But every president had something about him that I could have found something decent about. I really have a problem with Joe Biden finding one fucking thing because the more you find out, he was a crooked sumbitch way before. Well, but not just puppet, but he was a crooked sumbitch before.
Oh yeah,
I mean, big time.
And how does he get by with her? His son's in trial right now for a podunk little gun.
It is a podunk stupid charge. I agree with that.
And I think that they're doing this right after the Trump trial so they can say, oh, there's no double standard. Look, we're going after the president's son right now.
It's all fair.
Yeah.
What do you think they're going to do to him?
Probably slap him on the wrist and do nothing.
Well, they should.
To piss more people off.
But it's a shitty fucking...
It is. Why don't they go and get him for some of those child sex videos that's on his laptop? You know?
They're going to try to find a way to mix that into this this trial. You watch. And then when they find him guilty of something for a minor charge or whatever they do, then they're going to come back and they're going to want to charge him with this. Whoa, it's double jeopardy. They've already done this in this other trial.
What gets me is 51 old CIA and FBI agents said, oh, that's Russian disinformation on his laptop. Why isn't those 51 individuals being held for treason now?
Well, but why? That's their opinion.
Yeah, but there was a laptop.
No, but that's their opinion. How can you file charges on people for just saying something?
It was election interference.
Yeah,
everything they done was to persuade people not to vote for Trump.
I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying
they just sent Trump to 34 charges.
I'm not talking about the Trump deal.
I know that, but I'm saying is they committed the same deal.
No, it's not. They didn't commit the same deal.
No, that what they done was worse because Trump didn't commit election interference.
I think what we're doing is seeing Trump with some cheesy little deals are making a big thing out of it. And then when they're trying to do the same thing with Hunter Biden on a cheesy deal, there's a lot of things he's done that he should be going to jail for. But buying a gun and saying he did drugs, well, there's 74 people in Memphis, Tennessee done that today.
But couldn't this trial with Hunter Biden just be to prove that the laptop was real?
Oh, it is. They've already proved it's real now.
I know that. But could that have been the play is to let's get him on this cheesy charge, and in that we will discover that that laptop that they told us was fake 4 years ago actually does exist, and it actually has all the shit that I told you it did?
Yeah, that should be, and they've got to cover it. Leslie Stahl was Donald Trump's apology. She ain't going to do that. No. Just like the guy that's with the Clinton guy. It wasn't John Bolton. What was the other guy's name? Ashcroft, or whatever it was that come out the other day and said that. They said, are you going to recant that? That's, nope, not going to say, nope, not at all.
He's not going to recant that he was wrong about the laptop existing?
Nope, not at all. It's one of the big guys. But that's the way they do shit. He goes off and goes and plays golf at his fancy country club in the Northeast, and don't worry about it. Of all the things going on in the world today, what bothers you the most that our government has done?
I don't know, man. That's a long list. We're fat. Our kids are fatter and stupider now than they've ever been before, and I don't think that is because of anything other than the government has been playing us for the last 50 years on shitty food, a sedentary lifestyle, and that is probably the biggest thing that I see.
That bothers you. What about you, Tony?
Really does. I mean, because, you know, you think about it. I mean, like you've talked about before, when you were a kid, nobody was fat. And I mean, it's been a big, I think it's been a big long-term play. If you look at the way that the sugar corporations bought off doctors to point the finger at fat and, you know, saturated fat and cholesterol, I think it was just, and, you know, then they passed on that phony food diagram that's got, the most important thing that you can have is all this bread and pasta and all this shit at the bottom. And you really only, you know, you get this little peak right here. That's your fruits and vegetables. And it's just been a play since the 70s in my mind.
So that's
I just hate what they've done to our kids and our kids' future.
See, when we were kids growing up, there wasn't nothing to fucking do in the house.
Right.
You know, Pong just came out in Atari, and it wasn't that good. It was really good for that time, but if you looked at it today, a kid today would be like, what the fuck?
Right.
So there was nothing to do. So you either read a book or you went outside and played.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying that's my problem. I thought I was abusing my body and it was swelling. So I guess it's the food, right?
What of everything in the world right now, one thing?
And the printing. So I got a couple, and printing money. Printing money really pisses me off.
You got one. Yours was fat kids and food.
Fat kids and food.
The mass importation of illegals into our country and all the welfare and benefits that they get while we have homeless Americans on the streets.
Now, do you not think some of our homeless Americans can help themselves?
Yeah, they can, but we shouldn't be giving billions of dollars to illegals. Why don't you help the taxpayers out?
I'm with you there. That part I'm with you on.
And my deal is if anybody that votes for any Democrat, they're responsible for this.
Yep. My homeless deal, real quick, I'm going to touch on yours. On our homeless deal is when I'm in a big city and I see homeless people, a lot of them fucking people homeless are dopeheads and drunks, and that's their own fucking fault. Now, when I see a family sitting in a car that's homeless and they've got kids and the kids are going to school, like I just saw where some kid his mom abandoned him 2 months ago. No electricity in the house, nothing at all. Kid went to school, made A's, and went to school on his own, 9 or 10 years old. Every day, never missed class.
Wow.
It was probably the only steady thing in his life. Had
Nobody
nobody
to
at
school
home.
to have meals.
Yes, but if that kid can do that, a lot of these people can help themselves. But those people that are on drugs on the street, I don't want to give them any more fucking money.
I saw a clip the other day that had Charles Barkley talking about people who was tight. He said that Michael Jordan was tight. He said, what do you mean? He said, yeah. He goes, every time I would go to give homeless guys some money, he said, hey, if he can ask you for a nickel, he can say, hello, welcome to McDonald's. Can I take your order?
But my biggest problem going on in our country right now, of all the fucking things in the deal, is the Epstein thing. It chaps my fucking ass that not one person that was buying those underage kids has been arrested. Not one. I mean, we're going to go into Trump's shit and all his crap he did, and you're going to take up for Bill Clinton being on a plane 28 times to that island. We know what was going on there. All them celebrities and nothing, and not one person. I want you to throw me a bone. Arrest Kevin Costner or somebody. I don't know that Kevin Costner was there. I'm just using, but give me one person and arrest him. Tom Hanks, somebody that was on that island for doing something wrong.
Yep.
Because it was happening, and that's what bothers me the most about our FBI, our CIA. Those people did not protect those kids at all, and have done absolutely nothing except arrest the lady, let the one guy kill himself if he really killed himself. I ain't so sure that he's killed himself. I think he's on an island somewhere. Same as P. Diddy.
Yep.
Those guys are all CIA informants. Most people do know that. It's an unspoken truth.
No, it is spoken because there's other celebrities coming out saying he's done it.
Yeah, and that's my biggest problem I have right now is that I can't believe we live in a world where we've had this Epstein shit going on for 7 years and not one fucking thing's happened.
How do you arrest 2 people for child sex trafficking, but there's no clients to charge them on?
Yeah, who they sell it to.
They should be able to get off of it if there's no...
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
I mean, if you arrest a prostitute on the street in Dallas, Texas, and you arrest her for prostitution, well, if she's just standing on a street corner, she ain't breaking no law. Well, you know what she's doing.
Well, like Tony said, like you're going to arrest these people for sex trafficking, but
yeah,
who are they trafficking?
But if there was nobody that they trafficked to, then it's kidnapping at that point.
But that's what I'm saying with this prostitute.
Right.
Well, if you're going to arrest her for prostitution, you got to arrest somebody that tried to pay for it.
Right.
I mean, you can't have a prostitute if you ain't got a John.
She's just loitering.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, and that's something. I mean, you do drug smuggling.
Mm-hmm.
You get arrested for drug smuggling. You got drugs on you. They arrest you with these drugs.
Right.
Okay. Well, most times when they arrest drug smugglers, they arrest the ring of people. Right. You know? And so they should do it. I think if they want to cut down on this meth problem, start making the motherfuckers buying the meth, big time prison sentences.
They don't want to cut down on it. That's how the CIA is funded.
Meth is not a very profitable drug.
All the drugs.
Well, all of them, but meth is not a very profitable drug.
You don't know how much profit they get.
Meth don't cost anything to make, and it doesn't cost much. I want you to look at the people in Knox City that are on meth. Do you know any wealthy people using meth?
Well, honestly, meth is something that they don't have to smuggle into our country. Yeah,
you make it from the shit you got in your
right.
kitchen. But meth is a cheap drug. I'm not saying the cartel ain't selling $1 billion worth of that shit, making $100 million off of it. But per person, it is a cheap drug.
Yes.
Cocaine was an expensive drug. You know? Meth is not. You looking up how much meth cost?
No, I'm just looking to see the most profitable illegal drug in the world.
Cocaine.
Marijuana.
Marijuana is the most profitable?
Yeah, but I don't know. See, I think you're going to get into like
Just
everybody buying it.
That's what I was thinking.
mean?
There's more people using it, and it's easier to come by.
So I think you're going to kind of see some fudgy numbers. That's hard to see. So cannabis is right there. Tea, $178,000. Coffee, opium, $6 million. Coca, $37 million for cocaine. Cannabis, $47 million.
But I'm like Tony. You know, hell, there's people that are buying. You're going to find in our community right here, there are a whole lot more people smoking pot than there are snorting fucking cocaine.
Yeah, 100%.
Because they can't afford it, for one thing.
Right.
And it's a hardline drug compared to somebody that's smoking pot. But meth is a cheap drug. And guys are riding huffy fucking bikes. I don't care where you live at. Every town has got that guy riding a fucking huffy bike like he's a fifth grader.
Or 2 or 3.
And they're fucking meth guys. And everybody knows it. You mean you see them riding up and down the street. They don't have no jobs. They're riding a huffy. Huffy should be in the fucking meth business. You should get a free deal of meth every time you sell a huffy to a grown man. And that's... But my biggest issue is the Epstein deal.
What do you think the debates are going to be like in 2 weeks?
I don't think we'll have a debate.
What?
I don't. Something's going to happen between now and then. Somebody's going to bail out.
I think Biden bails out because if he debates, then he's going to have to run, and I don't think they can switch him. I'm thinking the Democrats are going to try their best to switch him.
I don't think there's anybody that could. I don't think there's anybody that can run right now that anybody gonna like.
Well, they're getting awfully late in the game. 2 weeks away, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Let's say they do the debate.
Mm-hmm.
One of the big things is right now is I want Joe Biden drug tested. I think both candidates should be drug tested. When I was in court, if I went to court to decide something, I had to be fucking clean. If I drank a beer, they're going to fire me. If I had alcohol, if I did drugs, if you're going to be the president of the United States, we ought to know what we're dealing with. And you ought to be able to go up there and do a debate clean. Not on fucking methamphetamines or whatever the hell they're going to have them guys on.
Well, think about this. Their rules was they got to be sitting down, no audiences. So you don't think they're going to have a team of doctors right behind him off camera?
Yeah, I don't. Trump should only agree to do a debate if he gets to set his rules for one of them, and then Biden does another one. And I would do mine first because I don't trust the Democrats bailing out anyways.
Well, they won't do one. He's doing this just so he can debate.
Who?
Trump.
Right. No, I know why
he's doing that because there won't be a debate otherwise.
No,
and he's good enough that he's going to be able to take him and the moderator on without.
Oh, he can fly off.
Yeah.
He's smart enough guy, and he's good enough bullshitter. He'll be fine. Biden can't do nothing that's not scripted, and I don't think they should have fucking earpieces. Either one of them.
No.
If you fucking can't get up there and talk,
do they wear an earpiece in?
I promise you, Joe Biden's gonna have a fucking earpiece in. There shouldn't be a. What are those things called? The
electronic device. I know what you're talking about.
That they talk through a teleprompter. There shouldn't be a teleprompter, and there shouldn't be any kind of fucking earpiece. You should be able to just get up there and answer. You're the president of the United States. If we can't ask you about China, you shouldn't have to get someone else telling you something. I mean, I could debate a presidential debate and stand up on stage and bullshit enough to get me through on most stuff, or I could at least deflect to something else. And I'm not even good. You take a kid that's a college debater, he'd fucking nail that shit. You know, you just talk about the things you want to talk about. You stay on them points. You push off anything that you don't want to talk about and go back to your points again. It's a real simple. It's a simple task, and anybody that's halfway smart could do that. Well, I want to see Joe Biden do that. Because I know Trump can do it. I've seen him 1,000 times.
Joe
He'll
Biden
ask a
can't.
question. No, every time he asks a question, he just walks off and shit.
Yeah.
But I just don't know how much Trump's going to be able to ding him on like the laptop and stuff.
He won't because they won't let him do it. They're going to cut off his mic and stuff. And that's the
But that's
problem.
what I'm getting at.
But
That's when I meant, what do you think about the debate? I meant, is Trump going to be able to hit him on anything, or are they going to have so many rules and regulations to where Trump's not going to be able to redirect, like you said?
they're at the point now, the Democrats are, in my opinion, that there's nothing for them to gain by any of this shit. Trump is going to gain votes on that debate. No matter what happens, he's going to get more people. Biden has nothing to gain. There is nobody that's voting for Trump right now that's going to switch to Biden. Nobody. You've made up your mind. You bought bread for $3 a fucking loaf. Your car costs a ton to fill up. Your transmission's out. It costs so much money. Whatever it is, things cost so much money. You've made up your mind on that deal. So all Biden's doing is bleeding voters. You know, if you're can you imagine being independent and think about really voting for Biden?
Right.
There's nothing in this country that's right. I mean, nothing's good. You go to an airport, it's a fucking total chaos. Everything you go. You go drive somewhere and you get along the border, it's chaos. You go to a big city, you drive to work and you got the homeless everywhere, it's chaos. It's everywhere you go. You know, they defunded the police. They found out that everything the Democrats have pushed have backfired.
No, it has. But you have these single issue voters that they don't care but about one item. But I'm like you. How in the hell do you, ignore the rest of them?
Yeah, I don't. I'm not voting for a Republican. I'll vote for Donald Trump. I'm not excited that maybe he's going to have Marco Rubio as a vice president.
Oh fuck! I saw he's leading in Vegas right now.
I don't understand.
It won't be Marco Rubio.
I hope you're right because
I heard somewhere the other day that they can't be from the same state.
Who can't be?
The
Shit, I
president.
had a fucking. I got to get off here. I got a meeting with Mallard Bay. Hold on just a minute.
The vice president and the president, I heard the other day, can't be from the same state.
Let me look it up.
Can you hear me?
Can president and VP be from same? Oh, here we go.
But then again, nowadays the way rules change,
Particular aspect of the electoral college system has led to some confusion on this question. There are many misconceptions about the rules of a president choosing their running mate. There's no law or regulation against a president or vice president of the United States being from the same state. Okay. The reason why some people mistakenly believe such a prohibition exists comes down to a particular aspect of the electoral college system laid out in the Article 2 of the United States Constitution. Article 2 says the elector shall meet in their respective states and votes by ballot for two persons, of whom one at least shall not be an inhabitant of the same state with themselves.
So Rubio can't be vice president.
No, it says here that
That's fake, right?
this says, according to history.com, there are some misconceptions. There's no law or regulation against the president and vice president of the United States being from the same
I
state.
thought you couldn't have that rule because back in the 13 original days, if you get up around Virginia, like where Thomas Jefferson to like Monticello, we've been to his place before, and you go down the road and John Adams' place is there, and then you go a little bit further and John Quincy Adams' place is there and stuff, and they're right. So they were all. So I don't think that's a rule.
Right.
I don't want Marco Rubio because I'm not a Marco Rubio guy.
So under the original systems, electors did not distinguish between candidates for the nation's top two offices. The candidate with the most votes became president, while the runner-up became vice president.
That's how it was originally.
Right. And I think that's when that got put in there, that those two guys couldn't be from the same state.
But you can have a running mate be from the same state.
Right.
I don't want him to get Marco Rubio. I really like Tulsi Gabbard.
I do too.
really, really like her, and that's who I wish he would take. I like Tim Scott. The lady at South Dakota, she's done. I'm glad she's out of it anyways. I want to see him pick someone based on who they are and what they can help us for, not based on if they're black or they're got a vagina or they're Mexican. I want him to get someone, and I don't care who it is.
You know who I think is going to be?
Who?
You're going to laugh. Mike Pence.
No,
I think it
you're
is.
fucking
No
lost.
way.
You're on crack.
They're way. That's
no
a bridge way
fucking
too
way.
far.
There's no way. Mike Pence just come out yesterday and said he wasn't endorsing him.
Now,
He
I'm
wasn't
telling
going
you
to vote
right
for him.
now,
No. How much you want to bet on this? I'll bet you
I'm not
$100 bill.
After last night, I don't
I'll tell you
gamble
what,
no more.
I'll do $100 and I'll give you 10 to 1 odds.
Okay.
$1,000 versus $100. It's Mike Pence's for the vice president.
All right, sure.
All right.
That'll work.
All right, shake on that motherfucker.
Can I get in on this?
Yeah, there is no fucking way. You're not that stupid, Tony.
I'm telling you from some of the stuff that I see in the feed.
Some of your stuff just cost you $100 fucking dollars.
I bet it didn't. Everything everything's a plan. It's planned out.
Fuck, you've lost your mind.
Who's the guy that I can't remember his name that he made Secretary of Defense like the last 10 days of his term?
I have no idea.
Do you know who I'm talking about? Pull that up.
I could probably
because he made a comment about Mike Pence. Vice President Mike Pence has been a major hand in this major military operation that we have undergone. And it was like 7 days is all they spent together.
All I'm telling you right now, you got to find out whatever kind of fucking drugs you're on because you're staying fat. Most people get on drugs and get skinny. There is no fucking way.
Have you heard Donald Trump badmouth Mike Pence?
Mike Esper? Is that who you're talking about?
No.
Chris Miller?
Chris Miller. Okay. Find out if there's a soundbite on there of Chris Miller praising Mike Pence.
He may have praised him, but he ain't fucking vice president. I'm telling you, you've lost your fucking mind. So that's who you. Who do you want to see him pick? Not who do you think? Because I know you're not stupid enough to want Mike Pence as vice president.
I think Tim Scott or Brian Donaldson would be good.
Both of them.
But I think it's going to be Mike Pence.
No, I think you're fucking nuts.
Because the people in the know.
Yeah, well, the fucking people in the know are on crack.
I don't
Next thing Tony's going to be riding a fucking Huffy in Knox City.
Is there a deal that says the Chris Miller and the Mike Pence?
There's no way he's getting Mike Pence as a fucking vice president. There's no way in hell. None. I would say that Oprah Winfrey's got a better chance than fucking Mike Pence does.
To be Trump's vice president?
Yes, that's about how good a chance Mike Pence has.
I mean, there's different things, but
okay. He made a comment.
I'm not a Marco Rubio guy. I'm not, and I don't understand. You're going to win Florida. He don't bring anything to the table. He's a senator down there. Let him stay down there and be a senator. I'd rather have him Ted Cruz than Marco Rubio.
Who's the O'Brien? There's some guy named O'Brien that some of my people, the stuff that I listen to, think that he might be on the short list.
You just said it was Mike Pence, so make up your mind.
I'm telling you, this O'Brien guy is somebody that was in his cabinet as well. And they're even talking about Mike Flynn.
Let's see. This is from Vegas. We'll see what Vegas is telling us.
I bet Mike Pence ain't on the fucking board.
No, Mike. No. So this has shifted since the last time I saw it.
Mike Lee's another one that would be a good.
Doug Burgum is plus 500. Tulsi's plus 900. J.D. Vance is plus 1,000. Marco Rubio's plus 1,200. Stefanik is plus 1,800. And that's all five according to that one.
Stefanik.
Let me pull up a different one.
The people that I listen to say he put a list out, but that list is just to
your people cost you $100 fucking dollars too.
This one says Tim Scott's plus 400. Doug Burgum is plus 550.
Doug Burgum's the North Dakota governor, right?
I don't know. J.D. Vance again plus 600. Tulsi, Rubio, Stefanik, Ben Carson.
See, that they're going by the list that he put out, but they don't think that the person they're going to pick is on that list.
He's doing the old head fake?
Yep.
Well, we will see on that.
The Trumpster is going to come through.
I really hope he doesn't pick Pence.
Well, I do too. There ain't no way in hell he's doing that.
But I heard something. Tucker was talking about something interesting about this. Like whenever you get like a fringe or like an outsider candidate, the establishment always pairs them with a safe bet. Always. Nixon was this kind of crazy guy, and then they gave him who'd they give him?
Gerald Ford.
Yeah, Gerald Ford.
It was their deep state guy.
Deep state guy.
Yep. You know that's
Bush. You had Bush, and then they gave him the deep state guy.
A lot of people really are on this. Nixon was a coup deal to get rid of him.
It was.
Yep.
A coup d'etat.
A lot of that going on. We have been lied to by our government.
No, our government is Russia really as bad as they say they are?
Oh, and JFK was another one. They gave us
LBJ, who was the state majority leader.
But like every time that you get one of these kind of candidates, that's going to be,
he turned down that spot.
Could be a little bit of a loose cannon. They always plug in their guy.
LBJ turned down JFK at first, and then Sam Rayburn talked him into it. Said you'll be president. He said they'll kill that Catholic.
You know what would be interesting if Trump gets Tulsi. And they win, which I think that's probably going to be the ticket that wins. Both president and vice president would be former Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder when the last time that happened.
I don't know. There wasn't a bitch difference between parties before, though.
No, I know that, but Trump was a Democrat. Tulsi was a Democrat. I wonder when the last time a presidential race came down to two of the people that left that party.
I don't know. Now, JFK, when he won president, did he beat Spiro Agnew?
He beat Nixon.
He did beat Nixon, so Nixon ran then too. They were not much difference between them two.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, literally, there is very little things different between them candidates, other than maybe some social issues. There was not much difference between the Republican and the Democrat in 1960.
Right. I'm trying to see. You know what cost him was the flu. Nixon had the flu when they did the debate.
Well, they also stuffed ballot boxes in Illinois and Texas.
So they did the first televised debate was during that election. Nixon had the flu. JFK had been at Martha's Vineyard and all these nice places, getting sun, getting a nice tan, and
optics.
Nixon had the flu. So the people that listened to it on the radio said that Nixon won. People that watched it on television said that Kennedy won.
Kennedy had the better optics.
Yep. Well, Nixon, he was fucking sweating really bad because he had a fever, turned out. But
so
everybody thought that Nixon looking all kind of mealy and pasty and shiny, they thought that he was losing they thought Kennedy was hitting him more because it made Nixon sweat.
What did the what were the outcomes of that vote? That was a pretty close election, I think. But if my memory serves me, and I wasn't around then, but from what I read though, Duval County in Texas and some counties had some votes come up. They flooded some votes, and they think that
49-7 for Kennedy, 49-5 for Nixon.
Okay. And I think Texas and Illinois both had some voter fraud that gave Kennedy the win.
I think it was Texas. I think you're right. Was it Duval and Harris County?
It's something. There was some shit going on in Texas. Texas was a big player in that in that election.
So Andy, are we on that bet?
No, I don't want you to lose $200. I'm helping you.
You're going to do me a favor.
I'm helping you out.
Okay.
I'm helping you out. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to say anything about Texas. Oh, here we go. Come on. Where's the results? Results. Before midnight, New York Times had gone to the press with the headline, Kennedy elected president, as the election again became too close to call. Let me see if it said anything about Texas. Here we go. Kennedy won 27 of 39 largest cities, but lost the southern cities.
Adlai Stevens was that.
Although he maintained Atlanta, New Orleans, and San Antonio. New Orleans and San Antonio were only cities in the southern United States have large Catholic populations. And Atlanta was a Democratic stronghold. I don't see anything about election fraud.
No, but they was really close in Texas and Illinois from what I understand.
Here we go. There was widespread allegations of voter fraud, especially in Texas, where Kennedy's running mate LBJ was a senator, and Illinois, home of Mayor Richard Daley. These two states were important because if Nixon had carried both, trying to get to in Texas, Kennedy defeated Nixon 51-49 margin, or 46,000 votes was all Texas came down to.
How many?
46,000 votes.
Yeah, and there's a couple block
Some
boxes.
Republicans argued that Johnson's formidable political machine had stolen enough votes in counties along the Mexican border to give Kennedy the victory.
Yep, that's where it all came from. They said that Duval County and stuff, that there was a lockbox they found later that had a whole bunch of votes in it, and they had replaced it with another box.
Fannin County had only 4,900 registered voters, yet 6,000 voted. 6,000 votes were cast, and in that county, 3/4 were for Kennedy. In Angelina County, Kennedy received 187 votes to Nixon's 24, though there were only 86 registered voters in the precinct.
Yeah, I think that happened pretty much all over the state of Texas.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. And Illinois was just as bad.
Huh?
Illinois was just as bad. But that Daley guy, he was mayor of Chicago for years, and then his daughter or son was also mayor of Chicago. But Chicago's got as crooked of politicians as anywhere, and they have that Pritzker guy and all that stuff. Have y'all seen, before we get off here, have y'all seen this mayor up in Chicago outside the suburbs?
I've read some highlights.
Have you read about this lady, Andy?
Headlines.
She's running that thing like she's a queen. Like, she spends so much money every week going to get her nails and hair done. The city pays for it. She flew to Vegas and spent $30,000. The city paid for it. They do all this other shit. someone asked at a council meeting or a governor's meeting yesterday, asked the governor if they're going to get involved with it. The city has got a group of people that are trying to run her off, and she's controls this police force. She shuts shit down all the time. Anyways, one of the things was Mayor Lori Lightfoot is now looking into allegations of fraud on that lady and the governor's office of Chicago. And she's a Democrat lady in charge. It's kind of an interesting deal. Second thing, before we get off here, France, they had a big vote yesterday and everybody voted red, or this weekend. Now the leader, was he a president of France? Macron. He's trying to squash it all now.
Yeah, the European Union got conservatives took it over.
Yep.
I read a deal the other day where they was talking about the percentages of people under 30 that are turning towards conservative candidates, anti-globalist.
They should.
All over the world.
All right.
Women and blacks are also making a big.
All right. Let's go on vacation, guys.
All right.
We're back in a week, y'all. Thank y'all for listening to us. God bless y'all. Father's Day. Well, this will come out after Father's Day. Anyways, I hope everybody had a great Father's Day. Remember your dad.
It's coming out Wednesday.
Oh, it is? Okay, well, good deal. Then I was messed up on it. So talk about the Father's Day giveaway then.
Head over to all of our social media accounts. Father's Day giveaways there. Enter to win. Love you. Bye. Watch for deer.
I got to listen to what Albert Bay. Shitload of stuff to do so I get that.
Go check out all of our sponsors. Go check out MLR Graphics, Boss Shot Shells, Pacific Calls. Use our promo code VHP25. Dive Bomb Industry, Dirty Duck Coffee, Shin Gear, Looking Glass Podcast, Lucky Duck, Mitch Hall, Chevrolet, Ducks Unlimited, Mallard Bay, Double T British Kings, Mossberg, Stanfield Outfitters, Hemp Hill Farm, and Alpha Outdoor Specialties.